Have you ever wondered if we are losing our youth to the digital world? We live in an era where technology has seamlessly integrated into almost every aspect of our lives. The digital age has brought about an explosion of opportunities, transforming how we learn, communicate, and even entertain ourselves. But like all revolutions, it has a flip side. In this vast digital landscape, a new form of addiction has taken root, particularly among our youth. The irony is palpable. The very tools that were designed to connect us, broaden our horizons, and simplify our lives, have in some cases become compulsive obsessions that are difficult to escape from. These addictions aren't limited to any particular device or platform. They span across the spectrum of digital technology, from video games to social media, from smartphones to online streaming platforms. The hours spent in front of screens are soaring, often at the expense of real-life interactions and experiences. What's causing this phenomenon? There isn't a single answer. For some, it might be the allure of a virtual world where they have more control or receive more recognition. For others, it could be the instant gratification that digital rewards provide. Or perhaps, it's the fear of missing out, a pressure to always be connected and in the loop. The consequences of this digital addiction can be severe. It's not just about the time wasted or the missed opportunities in the physical world. It can lead to a range of psychological issues, including anxiety, depression, and a skewed perception of reality. Moreover, it can create a paradox. While the digital world offers a place to escape, it can also foster feelings of isolation and loneliness. A person might have thousands of online friends, yet feel incredibly alone. So, it's clear, the digital age, while filled with opportunities, also has a darker side. As we navigate through this digital maze, it's essential to remember that balance is key. The aim isn't to demonize technology, but to use it wisely, ensuring it enriches our lives rather than consuming them. Meet Jake, a high school student who fell into the trap of video game addiction. Jake was an ordinary high school student just like any other. He was into sports, loved hanging out with friends, and was an excellent student. But everything changed when he got his first console game. It started as harmless fun, a way to unwind after a long day at school. But soon, the games began to consume him. Jake's addiction began innocently enough. He started spending a few hours each day playing his favorite game. But as the weeks went on, those few hours turned into several hours and then entire days. Jake was hooked, and he didn't even realize it. His grades began to slip. Once an A student, Jake was now struggling to maintain a passing average. His teachers noticed the change in his academic performance, but Jake brushed it off, promising to do better next time. But the next time never came. Instead, Jake delved deeper into the virtual world, forsaking reality. Social interactions became a thing of the past. Jake stopped hanging out with his friends, he stopped playing sports, he stopped doing anything that didn't involve video games. He was isolated, trapped in a world of pixels and high scores. His friends tried to reach out, but their words fell on deaf ears. Jake was too far gone. And then there was the toll on his physical health. Jake began to lose weight, his eyes were constantly red and strained, and he was always tired. But he didn't care. The thrill of the game, the adrenaline rush of a win, it was all worth it to him. Or so he thought. One day Jake collapsed at school. He was rushed to the hospital where doctors discovered he was severely malnourished and sleep-deprived. It was a wake-up call for Jake, a harsh realization of how far he'd fallen. Jake's story is a stark reminder of how technology addiction can turn a life upside down, but it also serves as a beacon of hope. Jake's journey back to health, back to reality, is proof that it's never too late to break free from the chains of addiction. Now let's talk about Lisa, a college student who was consumed by social media. Lisa was your typical college student, bright, ambitious, and eager to explore the world. But as she delved deeper into the digital domain, the line between her online and offline life began to blur. She was always plugged in, always scrolling, liking, commenting, and posting. The constant need to stay connected was taking a toll on her, mentally and physically. It started innocently enough. Lisa, like many of us, used social media to keep in touch with friends, share experiences, and stay informed. But soon, she found herself spending hours on end, lost in the sea of filtered photos, witty captions, and viral trends. She began comparing herself to others, feeling inadequate, and striving for a level of perfection that simply didn't exist. The effects of this excessive use of social media were far-reaching. Lisa's grades began to slip, her relationships suffered as she was more interested in her virtual friends than real ones, and her self-esteem took a nosedive as she continually compared herself to others. The world she was so eager to explore was replaced by a digital illusion. The more she immersed herself in the virtual world, the more she felt isolated in the real one. She was surrounded by people, yet felt utterly alone. She was constantly updated, yet felt out of touch. She had hundreds of friends online, yet felt friendless. It was a paradox she couldn't escape from. Lisa's mental health was severely affected. She suffered from anxiety, depression, and sleep disorders. Her obsession with social media had turned into an addiction, and like any other addiction, it was damaging her life. The dangers of social media addiction are real and often overlooked. It's not just about the time wasted scrolling endlessly, but about the negative impact it can have on our mental health, relationships, and self-esteem. It's about the danger of comparing ourselves to others and striving for an unattainable perfection. Lisa's experience shows us how an innocent pastime can spiral into a serious issue. The good news is, technology addiction is not a life sentence. It's something we can overcome. Let's dive into the recovery journeys of two individuals, Jake and Lisa, who once found themselves ensnared in the grip of tech addiction, but have since found their way out. Jake was once a gamer who spent every waking hour immersed in virtual worlds. As his reality blurred with the fantasy of his games, his personal and professional life began to crumble. But Jake found his lifeline in therapy. Through cognitive behavioral therapy, he learned to recognize and change his unhealthy gaming patterns. He learned to replace problematic behaviors with healthier ones, like regular exercise and spending time outdoors. Lisa, on the other hand, was a social media butterfly who found her self-worth tied to the number of likes and shares she received online. But with support from her loved ones, Lisa began to realize that her self-esteem should not be dictated by virtual validation. She started to spend less time online and more time connecting with her friends and family in real life. She also discovered the wonders of self-care, taking time to read, meditate, and indulge in activities she loved outside of the digital world. Both Jake and Lisa's stories underline the importance of balance and moderation when using technology. It's not about completely eliminating technology from our lives, but rather learning to use it in a way that enriches our lives instead of consuming it. Therapy, support from loved ones, and self-care are crucial in this journey towards recovery. Remember, technology should be a tool that aids us, not an anchor that drags us down. We should be in control of our tech use, not the other way around. Recovery, as Jake and Lisa showed us, is absolutely possible and within our reach. So if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed by your tech use, remember Jake and Lisa. Remember that it's okay to ask for help, to take a step back, and to strive for balance. Because at the end of the day, our well-being is worth more than any like, share, or high score. So, what can we learn from Jake and Lisa's stories? We've taken a deep dive into the paradox of the digital age. We've seen how the very devices and platforms designed to connect us, entertain us, and make our lives easier can also ensnare us in a web of addiction if we're not careful. We've walked alongside Jake, the gamer, whose virtual victories began to overshadow his real-life achievements. We've empathized with Lisa, the social media butterfly whose need for likes and shares started to dictate her self-worth. But we've also seen that there's hope. Hope in the form of recovery and the possibility of a healthy relationship with technology. Jake and Lisa's stories aren't just cautionary tales. They're also narratives of resilience, reminders that it's never too late to break free and regain control. So how can we maintain a healthy relationship with technology? First, it's crucial to set boundaries. Designate tech-free times in your day. Use these moments to engage in activities that you love and that ground you in the present. Read a book, go for a walk, cook a meal. Remember, there's a whole world out there beyond the screen. Second, be mindful of your tech use. Ask yourself, am I using this device or platform because I want to, or because I feel compelled to? Am I spending more time than I'd like on it? If the answer is yes, it might be time to reassess and make some changes. Lastly, don't be afraid to seek help if you need it. If you feel that your tech use is starting to interfere with your life, reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or professional. You're not alone, and there are many resources available to help you navigate this journey. Remember, technology is a tool, not a master. Use it wisely, and it can enrich your life rather than control it.